Hello, my friends. This is Reena Jadhav with Heal Circle, and on our podcast today, we've got Rob Baines streaming through Maui. Rob, welcome.
Just take a breath in right now. Let's start this being experiential for everybody who's listening as well. And so just take a breath in and just come into your chest area because you are a traveler, but you absorb other environments around you. So we can strengthen that for you so that if you do go to America, or if you do go to Poland, or if you do go somewhere else, South America, you're solid. You don't move. You're like that candle wick in a storm. You're just solid. And that's what we all want to be, right? We want to be solid. We want to be well defined. And this is the work I do. If you call it work, I'll give a little brief just so people, because I work very differently. I'm very disruptive in this whole arena. I'm very disruptive. When people start talking about energies, entities, the fastest pathway, ascension, it's all an illusion. It's a distortion that we have brought into human consciousness. It's like the Akashic records. That's only come in the new mystical kind of arena in the last maybe 50 to 100 years. So there is no Akashic records. The universe, there is only completion right now. Everything that was before is dissolved. Everything in the future is not created. We are here right now. And that's the biggest challenge as humans have. That's the biggest filter we have. That separateness is that we're always looking for some external, like the Akashic records, to give us some affirmation, to give us some definition of who we are here. The universe is perfect. It doesn't need to sit back and record everything for what, one day when it's going to be having a cup of tea, looking through all the files. I go to before all the stories, before what we've all created, before the religions, before the concepts, the values, the beliefs that we humans have, which have always been changing. Science is no different. You know, science will say something with great authority and affirmation, only then 10 years later say, oh no, we discovered something else. That's all wrong. So we are dynamic individuals in a dynamic environment. We're always shifting. We're always changing. Unlike other things we do in life, there is no graduation on this path. That's how I kind of want to lead this with you. And what I'm doing also as we're talking, there's far more going on behind the scenes than what this guy Rob is saying. That's just information. That's really just to keep the mind contained while the deeper work is being done. So right now we're forming anybody who is listening to this live or is going to listen to the future, you're all part of a mastermind. And so we're just making it so that it's in more synchronicity, more alignment, so that everybody can receive what I'm saying. So I've had a long journey and I only really focus on experience in this density. I don't go into past lives and all that. That saying that whatever we do come in this journey, we usually bring our ancestral programs in with us. And that's the work I do is I clear that. And it will be cleared very fast, by the way. Before I answer about or go into about my description, what you said, yes, it's all great. What is happening though now with this acknowledgement that, as you refer to as a play, and there is Rob and there's you, but it's not really. But it's actually, in a sense, what people do is then diminish their persona in density. And that's the opposite of what, let's just bring some terms in, whether you want to call it spirit, universe, God, higher self, it's all academic. It's a label. Once you label something, you limit it. So whatever it is, whatever has brought in, I call it the intelligence, the wholer version of me, that's what really it is. It's managed to do this incredible magic act. It's managed to go from everything all at once within the system and create a system within the system that is very separate. You start to get to experience this fractal that you're playing, and then you have access to the whole. So it's cool. So the main thing is that not to diminish your being here. We are the last bit of the whole process. We're it in density. There's nothing past this in density. So we're here to create. I'm saying this is my direct experience. We're not here to be on this journey to have peace, to be safe, and to be calm, to be a good person, to help others, all that stuff. We're here to create, to
Yes.
push the human envelope. A byproduct is that you will be more grounded, you will feel more peace, you're more in alignment with the overall. So everything, the synchronicities happen. But your spirit or your whole self has not done all of this. So we can just be in survival mode. And unfortunately, the mass consciousness, they're still in survival mode. We never graduate. I started at a young age. I had addiction problems. I went into recovery at 26. That's when I had my first my most conscious spiritual experience. And then throughout the last 40 years, I've had NDEs. I've done copious amounts of all sorts of plant medicine. I've tuned into frequency work, the whole host, but it's guided me. There's a logic to it. And that's the other thing you start to see. When they say when you die, you have a life review. The life review is to show, it's not to show you did this wrong, you did that wrong. No, that is to show you the puzzle making sense, that there's this intelligence. There's always been this intelligence. There always will be this intelligence that is guiding absolutely everything you do. Now, you as a human, we get to co-create if we tune into, if we come in alignment to where that polar version of us are. And that's what's happened to me as of recently. It comes in, and you embody it, and then it wants to explode into density. So from all these things that have happened, I've managed to become coherent enough, aligned enough in space and time. And for those of you who don't know my work, what that means is that how we render ourselves here, how we create ourselves, all the programs you have, the fears, the anxieties, the creativity, the abundance, everything, it's all programs. It's all pre-programmed. As we come in here and we can start to understand the whole version of us, how we are, and then we can start editing. But we edit at what I refer to as the blueprint level. It's before all of this is created. Most people try and heal, fix, improve, transform something that's already in density. It's been created. It's very clunky. It's very difficult. It has really pretty minimal effects in comparison to the amount of investment you put into it. This is how you really shift fast, and it's permanent, is that I help you find another version of you in space and time that is more optimal. And then we just shift there. So that's how it works from my side. And I have access to this. I've got it because I've been clearing through all the different things. You receive awareness of what's blocking you. And then it's down to you, the individual, to say, yeah, those non-deserving programs, I don't need that. Once you make a conscious effort to say, no, I'm not going to create myself like that. It's instant. It's instant. And then you move into a clear version of who you truly are here.
What you're saying is very powerful, but I don't think everyone's going to understand. So we're going to spend a couple of minutes on this.
Yeah, we can do it experiential. I can bring you in the space.
Before you do that, you said two things. One, how you are rendering here. Not everyone understands what that even means. My audience is very vast. Not everyone has even sometimes been very deep into spiritual. So when you say you are rendering, I understand. For those who don't understand, what do you mean rendering, Rob? I am physically here. Please explain what that means.
And that's a really great point you made, because really what I do is not for people who are just starting this journey. I'm that guy. Everything has a niche. I'm that guy for people who've done, like you've done it all. You know it inside out. You can quote any guru out there, any doctrine, dogma, you know it inside out, but you're not getting the full effects. I'm that guy. And that's why people only come to me into my field who are at that position, who's going, I've done it all out here. Something's still missing. And I'm that guy to release you and bring you into another realm, to help you bring yourself into another realm. So let's start at the beginning, right? We got the one dimension, we got consciousness. Let's use that as a label, consciousness, right?
What is the connection? Explain the difference between the super consciousness.
There's billions worshiping Satan, by the way, as well, and many other figures out there. There's billions that are worshiping or have worshiped Epstein or Gandhi. So it's not about, there's no quality about, wrong, because I'll tell you one thing I'm 100% sure of, without question. No one can convince me otherwise, because I experience it daily. On the other side, there is zero judgment.
Yes.
There is zero about good, bad. That's why with a lot of Catholicism, it's all based on judgment, which is just it's all control.
Yes.
And mass consciousness is distorted. We're very distorted. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a buddy Jesus or Buddha. If you're in the mass conscious and living form, which they were at a time, they're distorted.
Yes.
You can't. So if you go, I'm outside of the mass consciousness, no, you're not. It's impossible. But what you can do is you can have a bird's eye view. You can get some insight, knowledge about how it works, some mechanics. And now, going back to your question, you then start to edit how you create yourself in density. So when I say how you render yourself, we have dimension one. First dimension, it's just consciousness. It's everything all at once. How can it actually observe itself unless it created the second dimension. So a second dimension came in, which could reflect. We came online with a third dimension. And what it is, as I mentioned earlier, is we are a fractal in the whole, everything all at once. We have been created within that whole as that segment within, which is really amazing magic act. And now what we're doing is all coming back to the whole. That's what we're here to do, is to learn. And I'm also going to bring in, because we're not really good humans yet, we're spiritual adolescents. We're not getting it wrong, but we're adolescents. We're not really good at disconnecting and not bringing frequencies in from our ancestors and past lives. So we bring in, again, going back to why the mass conscious still is in survival mode, we bring in things like survival, low self-esteem, insecurities, lack, separateness. Those are outdated. Though we should have disconnected from those lifetimes ago. And that's what we're all doing now. That's what this whole awakening is about. We're starting to understand the manual. So when you come into density, and once you start getting tuned in and connected, and you have that channel, you're able to see, oh, I have created myself just like my parents, my grandparents, all these programs I have. That's why there's that unrest. And then, as I said, once you start doing this, you start to understand how to shift and disconnect from those programs that are not you. So all of doctrines, everything that's been created here, these are derivatives. They're stories. Humans needed stories. And yes, there was this guy named Jesus who came, and he was connected to consciousness. And then we humans, just like that cliche, you tell a sentence to someone and have them pass it on to 20 people, it's going to be completely different. Couldn't you imagine what this guy Jesus was saying, who was a lovely, by the way, super, he's like, wow, yeah, of course. He shifted people on the spot by his presence. Then over time, because us humans, we have distortions, we get seduced, we love control, we love power, because those who love that haven't really seen what is on offer for them. They start to manipulate. So Catholicism is anything from what it started, Christianity. It's all based now on judgment, control, shame. And I can tell you one thing, if you have fear in you, there's no healing. That the environment can only really work when there's that nutritious soil and you're not in fear. So if you're working with someone right now and you're intimidated by them and you feel fearful, go deep inside and ask, what's that about? And you'll be guided. Maybe that person's not for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want you to do a session, but before that, it's so important. It's never been more important, especially since the Epstein files revealed things about certain leaders that had been truly considered inspirational and looked up to and had been. But once you understand how dark they were on the other side, and again, it's more about no judgment, but those are choices that they made in interaction and comments they made. That means that they were distorted, to use your phrase. They were not coherent, and so they certainly couldn't have made anybody else coherent when they themselves are not coherent.